Here. Another week of vaults. This is going to be week 6, season 3 of Dragonflight. So we expanded our roster a little bit last week. We actually, not only did we get all of our healers done, but we also added the DK. Been playing Blood again, so that's been pretty fun. And we even got an 18 done, so we will have a myth piece. So I guess we'll just go ahead and get started. We'll just go from the bottom up. Switch my game screen back on so you can actually see what's going on. Hey. I mean, Blood has been, like, more or less unchanged the entire expansion. I've been enjoying playing it. I enjoyed it in Season 1 when it was quote-unquote, like, kind of a bad tank. But they've slowly just buffed it a little bit at a time, like, you know, 3% here, 2% there. But they've done it, like, 7 or 8 times, so DK is actually in a reasonable spot. You know, it's not a Vengeance Demon Hunter or a Prop Paladin, but it is pretty solid. Obviously, you just heal out the ass. All you have is sustain. You have decent control with grips, so it's pretty fun. I like it in dungeons. We did do a normal run. No legendary, unfortunately, but we started our bad luck protection, so if any luck, we'll see it on this character eventually. What did we do? We cleared a normal raid, so we have 3 normal raid boxes, plus an 18, which is 1 myth box, and then I think a 14, which is like a 473. It's like a mid-hero piece. I think we're going to open an Unholy. We'd prefer to see DPS trinkets. And we don't want to see one-handers, so that's why we're Unholy and not Frost. So let's just see what we can get. Do we even care? A weapon. A myth weapon would be the absolute best piece. We do have 4-piece. I wouldn't say no to more tier, but we did get 4-piece last week, so a little unbothered about that. Okay. Interesting. So, crit haste neck, which is a pretty solid upgrade. This trinket, I believe, is okay. But I have, like, 460 trinkets already, so I kind of don't want this. And 463 normal helm. This trinket is garbage. We definitely won't take the counterweight. The crab is kind of interesting. I've actually never seen the crab. But then we have a 480 myth verse mastery belt. I kind of think I have to take the belt, because this belt, the Unstable Frostfire, is getting replaced. It counts as one of my embellishment slots, and we don't use that this tier. I think this tier we use the Shadow Flame, so I put Shadow Flame on a cloak, and then I have to craft the Verse Bracers, so we will need to swap out this belt. So I think we may as well just take the Myth piece while it's there. And Verse Mastery is like okay stats, they're good for tanking. Not like amazing for DPS, but 480 piece is pretty good for the first week. Oh, cool. 453. Not a bad way to start it off. Actual upgrade. Next we go to the monk. Monk did 418s, I think. So I'll have 2 mythic slots at 480. Pretty much the goal is to get myth slots on all these characters, like at least 1 a week, and slowly fill them out. I know a lot of the characters are creeping up to 475-ish, so it is getting there. And I guess once I get bored with those, then I move on to the rat alts. Like the DK was kind of the rat this week. What do we want? We have a good weapon for Mistweaver. We have a 486 one-hand and a hero offhand. But trinkets, what are our trinkets like? I think it's this 467 leaf, which is like kind of a meme trinket. It's okay. We didn't do raid though, so I'm trying to think like what dungeon trinkets could I see that I would want for Mistweaver to make me run Mistweaver. I guess Genosaur Blood and the Sea Star. Those are it. But if I saw a weapon, I'd be pretty upset. I really don't want to see a weapon. I think I'd rather just stay Brewmaster, honestly. I'm trying to think of the downsides, because we don't... If we go Windwalker, we run the risk of getting another counterweight, which is terrible. But if we run Tank, what kind of trinkets are we looking at if I roll Brew? Stone Scale? That would be kind of interesting. We can still get Mirror and stuff. Okay, we're just going to stay Brew. Whatever. We'd love to see a brew weapon or a really disgusting trinket. Okay, neither of those are it. So, Myth Shoulders, I think we took Myth Shoulders last week. And Myth Bracers with honestly pretty good stats. Okay, so we're going to take the Bracers. I mean, that's what, 43 item levels with good stats? Okay, cool. I'm glad I did 4 dungeons, because if I had only done 1, it would have been kind of a dud. And I think we got another Catalyst charge this week, so we can move some of our Catalyst pieces around, which is kind of nice. Oh, cool. That's a pretty big upgrade. Next, we've got the Druid. The Druid did 6 of 9 heroic. So it's 2 heroic raid boxes plus 4 18s again. 2 myth dungeon boxes. Pretty decent selection. And last week we did get a heroic, yeah, I think it was a heroic guardian weapon. So our guardian weapon's a lot better. Our trinket situation's kind of hurting. We still have a 437 globe, which is pretty bad. But like, what would I want? I guess myth track that's not chest would be cool. Do I want to run resto for trinket? So for resto, we're using pips and a Bellarellos. Trying to think. Like, if I went resto, what am I hoping to get? What can I even get? Seedling? It's pretty meh. I think we just go Boomkin and just pray we get something nice. Okay, well, Hero Mastery Haste Boots, which are decent. It's 1 track upgrade. Hero Crit Haste Bracers, which we already have Hero Bracers. 480 Crit versus Leech Ring, which those stats are honestly terrible for all the Druid specs except for Feral. And I don't play Feral. And then a 480 Mastery versus Boomkin weapon. Now we do have this weapon here, but this is technically a resto weapon? So maybe we just replace it with a 480, and then we can move an embellishment to something else. We have a Lariat as 1 embellishment. We could move... I don't even know what I could use to fill in. Because I play, like, multiple specs, so I'm trying to use embellishments that actually, like, complement multiple ones. But we'll take a weapon, you know? It saves me some aspect crests. I can craft something else instead. Find something interesting. Maybe I'll just craft, like, the Toxic Boots. Toxic Boots, I think, are okay for all the specs. So I could just upgrade those. I believe I have those already. Yeah, I have the Toxic Thorn and the Slime Boots, so those would be good. Okay, we're reasonably happy with that. Alright. Got the Evoker next. Evoker did a full clear of Heroic. So 3 Heroic raid boxes. Then I did some 20s and some 18s, so we'll have 2 myth slots. One will be max 483, the other will be 480. We'll have to like look at this character's gear. I don't really need a whole lot other than like incremental upgrades from hero to myth. Because we're 477. So what are we hoping for? Heroic Spindle would be cool. Heroic Bellarellos. Myth Weapon. Really, we just don't want to see bracers or pants. Those would be the worst. I mean, but that, not a whole lot else. Even a socket would be okay. I wouldn't be, like, super pissed about a socket. Let's make sure we're Devastation so we can get the DPS trinkets. Really aren't any healing trinkets that I want specifically. Ooh, interesting. A Dreambinder. A 480 Myth Weapon. Crit verse. These stats are really bad. Those are really bad. Crit Mastery Ring, which is okay. Hero Neck, which we already have. A Verse Haste Weapon. So I guess it's... Would I rather have the Dreambinder with the active effect? Or just take a myth weapon and just upgrade it all the way with, like, less good stats. Like, I like having maxed weapons, so like a 489 weapon is really appealing, but it's a one-hander with really bad stats. I think we take the Dreambinder, honestly. Which sucks because it's not a myth piece, but... Is there any merit for a crit mastery ring? It's okay. Like, I wouldn't use it for AUG. Or we take a socket. I think we'll just take the staff. It is a really, really small upgrade. But I'll upgrade it to 483. I mean, because this character's not going to be going to Heroic much longer, so getting a Heroic piece isn't the worst thing. I won't be doing Raid. Now that I'm pretty much geared. It's going to be like Mythics only just to get those last couple item levels. Alright. I think I selected the Shaman next. Yeah, Shaman. So Shaman did a full normal clear. And then 418s, so mostly be looking at the myth slots. Gear's filling out pretty well. We've got a 476 and a 480 weapon for enhance. We have a 480 trinket for enhance. So I think at this point we start rolling elemental or resto. Honestly, our trinket situation is really good. We have a pips. We have a 480 Sandglass, we have a 467 Gnarled Root, and a 467 Venusaur Blood. Really, we just need, like, trinkets. I guess another ring, but I'll probably craft a ring this week. So I guess a shield would be good for Ellie. Otherwise, Myth Tier is what we're looking for. We'll just stay Elemental. Oh, shield or Myth Tier. That's pretty much it. Okay. A Verse Haste Ring, which is pretty unappealing. Crit Haste Boots, these are pretty good for Resto and Ellie. At least in AoE they're pretty good. I think I have champion version of those, I do. So these would be decent. The normal stuff isn't good enough to entertain, I don't think. Verse Haste. If this was Crit Verse, I would take this, but it's Verse Haste, which is not great. None of the specs really want that. Like, Resto likes Verse, but they don't really like Haste. They'd rather have Crit. Ellie is Haste Mastery or Haste Crit, depending, and Enhance is Haste Mastery, so this ring is terrible. Or alternatively, we take a socket and stick it in these bracers. I think I might just take the Myth Boots, honestly. We're just going to slowly start pushing our way into the Myth track on all the item slots. Again, nothing super exciting, but upgrade is an upgrade. Okay, Priest next. Priest only did 118, so it's got one slot and that's it. I was not really feeling the Priest last week. I don't know why, I just wasn't feeling it. So we have a Balefire branch, we have Myth Hands. I mean, mostly just looking for Myth Tier or a Myth Weapon. A Myth Two-Hander would be really solid. Trinket, I guess like a Venusaur Blood would be interesting, or a Sea Star. I think I'd rather have Tier at this point. Let's just roll the dice and see what we get. One slot, so it's going to have to be a big slot machine win. A 480 Myth Helm with Haste Mastery. That's very good. So you win. Sometimes you win the rolls. Very cool. Nice. 474. And we're starting to own. These characters are going to start getting shelved soon. Alright, and lastly we have the Paladin. We did kill Nimue last week, so we have access to 5 mythic bosses now. We should get Laradar this week, I hope, so that'll be 6 soon. But yeah, we did a full heroic clear, 5 of 9 mythic, and then 4 18s. I'm trying to think what I would even want. Our gear is looking really good. We have like 489 in like almost all of our tier slots. We need 489 shoulders. A 489 trinket, 489 shield. I guess a 489 holy weapon. Like, is there I think the weapon we want is off Laradar, so I'm like kind of incentivized to not spec holy. Like, what drops off Nimue? Haste burst shield? Man, that's a bad stats. Those are really bad stats. Is there any caster weapon that we would foreseeably get? Not really. Like tank stuff, there's nothing super interesting. I think I might go red, honestly. Like, I would like to get a shield, but the first boss in heroic drops, or in mythic drops the shield, so I'm likely to see that eventually. We have a mythic pips. We got that last week. So really, yeah, outside of a shield, shoulders, or like a Venusaur blood, there isn't much left for holy, so I think I'm just going to roll ret and hope I get a weapon or shoulders. And if I don't, then I guess I'm taking sockets. I have plenty of room to take sockets. Okay, well, that's a heroic trinket. We probably won't take that. Ooh, shoulders. That is the piece I wanted. Okay, well, let's look at everything else. Haste Mastery Cape, which is okay, not amazing. It's good for prot. Gloves, which we already have. 480 Haste Crit Bracers. These are good for ret, but we're wearing an embellishment there. And again, these drop from the second boss, I think, so we have a pretty okay chance to get those. We already have them on the hero track. I think we just take the shoulders and upgrade to myth track, and then we'll have like full myth tier slots. And then shortly we'll be taking, looks like, sockets only. So cool. That works out, actually. It works out really well. And we'll just glance at the affixes real quick. Fortified, Afflicted, Raging. Alright, so you're going to make sure you want Dispels this week. And potentially Soothes. Unfortunately, the only AoE Soothe is like an Evoker, so it's kind of annoying. But Raging isn't the worst until you push into higher keys. It's just a mild annoyance. Yeah. Anyway, I hope you guys had good holidays. We'll have New Year's coming up. I'll probably stream a couple times this week. Twitch.tv/Veronix. Come and check me out. Hopefully you had some good vaults over the Christmas break. And we'll see you next time. Peace.